If you open up this tutorial site, there's a lot of great information about intents. We give you a hint to look at section 1.2 about starting activities. There's a nice diagram about one activity opening another activity. This sample code also looks pretty interesting. Assuming that this code is called from within an activity file, we create a new intent using a constructor where we pass in two inputs. Here's the Android intent documentation page, and this is the constructor we're calling. We need to pass in a context and a class component. All right, so back to the sample code. This first input needs to be the context. So we pass in this, which refers to the current activity. In general, the context will help the intent know more about the current state of the app so that it can put the second activity in front of the current activity. And later, the back button on the device will work. The second input of this constructor is to take in a class component. This is the name of the activity we want to open, which is activity2. We need the .class extension at the end to identify this specific Java class. The new intent is created and stored in a variable called I. Then in this next line of code, we call the start activity method and pass in the intent I as our input. So this allows Android to start a new activity called activity2. Let's copy this code and see if we can use it in our app. Man, it looks like we get an error in Android Studio saying that it cannot resolve the symbol activity2. And that's because there is no activity in our app called activity2. Let's rename it numbers activity, which we do have in our app. And that seems to resolve all the errors. So let's go ahead and run this on our device. Nice, it works. Now, we haven't formally discussed what we just did though. So let's unpack everything and see exactly what happened.